Okay? In situations like this, the best thing that we always recommend is y'all separate. Don't just separate from each other. You don't need to be going on vacation together if you file for divorce and it's obviously a volatile situation.
That's right.
I don't know how else to put it other than that, okay?
According to police, on July 21st, the 36-year-old's estranged husband, Robert Shiver, told authorities that he learned of what was a plot to murder him, saying he came to police out of fear for his life and the life of his children. Police arresting Shiver's estranged wife and 2 other alleged accomplices. Investigators searching their phones and saying they found a number of WhatsApp messages suggesting a plot.
Lindsay and Robert appeared to have it all: a loving marriage, wealth, and a beautiful family. Yet, as we often learn, appearances can be deceiving.
We have filed for divorce.
Okay.
Living in the same house. It's hell on earth, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But anyway, woke up this morning. We have travel plans to leave. And he's insisting that I don't go.
Okay.
And then I have my keys. He moves me out of the way, starts trying to unload my car. Tells me he owns the car, he owns the rights to it. Just got super aggressive, and that's when I called immediately because he's been physical before and I'm just not.
Lindsay and Robert's marriage, once filled with promise, had spiraled into toxicity. During their bitter divorce, Lindsay made a fateful decision that would ultimately cost her everything. But how did things go so wrong for this seemingly perfect couple? What led Lindsay to want Robert dead, and how did the police uncover her chilling plan? Lindsay Shiver was born on October 28, 1986, to Cecilia and Andy Shirley. She grew up in Dothan, Alabama before relocating to Thomasville. Raised in the South, Lindsay was deeply involved in beauty pageants, earning the title of Miss Houston County in 2005 and placing as the second runner-up in the National Peanut Festival pageant that same year. In 2006, Lindsay enrolled at Auburn University, majoring in elementary education with dreams of becoming a teacher. Her college years were filled with friends, parties, and extracurricular activities. She was on the cheerleading squad and took workout classes in her free time. It was during one of these classes that she met Robert Shiver, a football player for Auburn's team. The two began dating, and shortly after Lindsay graduated, they got married, launching what seemed like their picture-perfect life together. The couple appeared to have it all: wealth, status, and a beautiful family. They were blessed with 3 sons, lived in a sprawling mansion, traveled to exclusive destinations like the Bahamas, where Robert's family owned a vacation home, and even had their own private jet. Their lives seemed like the epitome of the American dream. For Robert, this lifestyle was second nature. His father, Alan Shiver, was the former CEO of Flower Foods, a billion-dollar company, and Robert grew up surrounded by luxury. Even when his NFL career fell short, Robert seamlessly transitioned into a high-paying role as vice president at Senior Life Insurance. His success allowed Lindsay to be a stay-at-home mom, focusing on their children without financial worries. Lindsay often showcased their seemingly idyllic family life on social media. In June 2022, she posted a photo of their family in the Bahamas with the caption, "I'm a real Bahama mama." In another post, she shared a picture of one of her sons, proudly declaring her role as a soccer mom. From the outside, Robert and Lindsay appeared to have a happy and loving relationship, but behind the facade, trouble was brewing, a storm that would ultimately shatter their perfect image. It's unclear when the affair began, but by early 2023, Lindsay was reportedly involved with a 28-year-old bartender named Terrence Bethel, who worked near the Shiver family's Bahamas vacation home. According to a close friend, Lindsay had grown increasingly bored with her marriage, describing her as a firecracker who was drawn to the thrill Terrence provided. He was exciting, different, and smooth, the friend said, adding that Terrence was well known for socializing with tourists and wealthy locals. The friend went on to claim that Lindsay was leading a shocking double life. At home in Georgia, she was the polished housewife and doting mother, but in the Bahamas, she transformed into a carefree, bad girl. Eventually, Lindsay stopped even trying to hide the affair. It was common knowledge they were openly dating, the friend revealed. What began as a discreet fling turned into a brazen romance that rocked her 13-year marriage. Robert, unable to ignore the mounting evidence, hired an expensive private investigator to follow Lindsay and document her escapades in the Bahamas. At first, the investigation led to a bizarre misunderstanding. The PI mistakenly photographed Lindsay with a bar manager who had no involvement, prompting an angry confrontation from Robert. When the truth came out, Robert sarcastically thanked Terrence himself, saying, "Thanks for taking care of my wife." Furious and humiliated, Robert filed for divorce in April 2023. He accused Lindsay of adultery, sought primary custody of their 3 children, and asked the court to deny Lindsay alimony, arguing she was able-bodied and capable of working. He also requested control of their $2.5 million home, its furnishings, and the couple's vehicles, along with a restraining order to prevent Lindsay from harassing him. But Lindsay wasn't about to back down. The day after Robert's filing, she submitted her own divorce papers, painting a very different picture. She claimed that any affair occurred after the couple was already separated and alleged that Robert condoned it. More disturbingly, she accused Robert of years of physical, emotional, and mental abuse, some of which allegedly took place in front of their children. Lindsay stated she had installed locks inside their home for protection, but still didn't feel safe. She also requested alimony and a share of marital assets, arguing she was financially dependent on Robert and burdened with debts she couldn't repay alone. In her filing, Lindsay accused Robert of financial sabotage, moving $98,000 from their joint account, barring her access to their private jet, and even cutting off the internet at their mansion as a form of punishment. The battle between the two escalated rapidly and took a terrifying turn. By the end of April 2023, authorities released body cam footage that revealed just how ugly their situation had become. On April 30th, Lindsay was recorded speaking with officers about a custody dispute with Robert. Although the couple was still living under the same roof, and their divorce was not yet finalized, Lindsay claimed Robert had taken their children and planned to hand them over to his parents. The footage showed Lindsay at her in-laws' house, trying to retrieve her children when the officers intervened. What began as a bitter divorce spiraled into something far darker, leaving those around them stunned by how quickly their seemingly perfect life had unraveled.
My in-laws are in the parking lot right there, in the white Lexus.
Yeah.
I've tried to call them. This is my attorney on the phone, and have not been able to get a hold of them. But that's what I was calling for, was for y'all to come meet with me, because I'm trying to meet up with my husband right now.
So what are y'all trying to do? Custody?
46 Thomas. I'm relocating to a compliance location in BP West.
In the divorce. He just had my kids with my family all weekend, and I respected that. I didn't go up there with my family. On the way back this morning, they were in Wiggum 30 minutes ago.
23
They were
Thomas.
headed home, and then I get the message that he's dropping them with his parents, who have no rights.
Okay.
So as a witness for me, that's why I called y'all to meet me at his parents' house.
You call?
I called. I was the first one to call.
I don't know. I asked who my complainant was, and they said the white Lexus. And then,
No, I called first.
The officers informed Lindsay that her mother-in-law had accused her of harassment and making threats. However, Lindsay was stunned and denied the allegations, insisting that she was the one who called the police first, simply because she wanted to see her children.
So they called and said that you were following them and harassing them, and that's why.
That's not the
So
truth. I was just trying to see where they were going to meet my kids. If I needed to call you to tell you it was the gas station or the house.
What time did you call dispatch?
Let's see. Well, a lot of people this morning now at 12:38.
27 pounds.
Okay, so that was probably that might have been the
23.
original call then. I don't know. There's no crime here, so we're not.
But where are my kids?
I don't know. They got to be with your husband.
Which is what? Just frolicking around and can until.
She explained that she had repeatedly tried calling Robert, but he deliberately ignored her.
So you think your
Husband has
husband
them,
still has them? But he
Just
won't
roaming
answer.
around.
but he won't answer.
Okay. When was he supposed to bring the kids back here? This morning.
Oh yeah. No one's answering the phone.
Yeah. Where's your husband been staying?
Oh, at my house.
Okay.
It's a lovely situation.
So he just isn't home. He hasn't come home yet. Okay.
I'll try my son, who I tried earlier and had talked to, and he told me they were in Wiggum. But now I'm sure Robert's got them not answering the phone.
She accused her in-laws of having mental health issues, claiming they were unfit to care for the children and had no right to take them.
I'm pretty sure they said threatening them, but if you didn't talk to them, then
I didn't talk to him at all.
they were saying that you were following them, obviously, and that you got a gun, which isn't illegal. Doesn't
No, I
matter.
don't,
It
though.
doesn't matter though.
But I don't.
And
Oh my God.
yeah,
Oh
so
God.
she,
You're welcome to
mother-in-law,
search my car.
something she's freaking out apparently,
She's
but
hypomanic.
but
Just a mental issue. All
Yeah.
three of the people in the car have a
Sure,
mental
tell me,
issue.
10:38.
Diagnosed.
yeah,
They don't need my kids.
yeah, they're saying the same thing.
10-4-84
They're saying
Pat,
you got a
Georgia
mental
Tech,
issue
Tango,
and
Tango, Golf,
you're
Mike
wrong.
513, EM 5139, white color, Hyundai, SUV.
That's none of our business. All I'm saying is that's the call we got. That's why we
But
showed
these are
up.
my kids
Yeah.
that they don't have a right to.
The officers also spoke with Lindsay's mother-in-law, who pressed them to confirm whether they had discovered a gun in Lindsay's car.
Well, I didn't search her car or nothing, but I asked her about it. She said she did.
Upon hearing from the officers that Lindsay hadn't technically broken any laws, the mother-in-law voiced her fear, admitting she was anxious about returning home, worried about what Lindsay might do next.
You guys can go about your business, okay? If she's following you or you feel like she's threatening you in any way, from moving forward, you can call 911 again. But with what we have right now, I'm afraid there's nothing we can do, okay? This whole thing's been documented and recorded, so you ain't got to worry about that, okay?
She's
We just don't have nothing. We're not
there.
doctors.
She is, right there.
That's not her.
That's somebody else.
No, that's somebody else.
Makes me nervous. I'm a nervous wreck. Makes me not want to go home though.
Yeah.
She's
Y'all
left.
don't know her. You don't know her like you
No,
know.
I don't know.
So it's not a good environment. It's a toxic environment, and it's.
Well, I mean, considering not just you, but her own mom saying the same thing, I'd be inclined to believe it.
The mother-in-law also accused Lindsay of being mentally unstable, claiming they had been worried she might have harmed herself when she failed to answer their calls earlier that day.
Get back home and call the city cops and tell them what's happening. The people.
Okay.
Well, we moved in with my daughter who has cancer. She lives right behind Robert and Lindsay. We were headed to where our big home is up for sale because Robert was going to bring the kids and let us see him because Lindsay was not answering their phone calls all day today. So they thought she had killed herself, to be honest, and had taken an overdose or something.
In the next footage, recorded on July 16th, 2023, Lindsay and Robert clashed over their private jet, which both wanted to use for separate vacations in the Bahamas. The argument escalated, and Lindsay called the police, alleging that Robert had become physical with her during the dispute.
Of course, he's inside now.
Okay. So what's going on? Y'all are separated, or what's the deal?
We have filed for divorce.
Okay.
We're living in the same house. It's hell on earth, as you can imagine.
Okay.
But anyway, woke up this morning. We have travel plans to leave, and he's insisting that I don't go.
Okay.
And then I have my keys. He moves me out of the way, starts trying to unload my car. Tells me he owns the car, he owns the rights to it. Just got super aggressive, and that's when I called immediately because he's been physical before, and I'm just not doing that.
So are you just wanting to leave, or is he supposed to be going with you?
Yeah, we're supposed to be going with our kids.
Okay. All right.
That's what I was asking dispatch, like what y'all can do if there's even. But of course now he's inside acting.
I mean, I don't know what it is that you want us to do. I mean, if y'all have filed for divorce and y'all are going on a vacation, other than telling him he needs to calm down, I don't personally recommend you go on a vacation if there's an issue like that and y'all have filed for divorce.
Right.
I mean, it's obviously a hostile situation.
Right.
So is there a way that you can go without him, or? I mean, the best thing, what we're going to do is tell y'all that y'all need to separate.
Right.
I mean, has he put his hands on you that, you know, have y'all been physically aggressive today? I mean.
No, just besides him moving me out of the way of my car to get to it.
Okay, what do you mean he moved you out of the way?
Like pushed me out of the way so he could get to my car and start unloading it.
Okay. We're going to need to talk to him then. Okay, so what's going on this morning?
So for the last 3 weeks, maybe longer, she's had her couples trip planned with her boyfriend to go to Key West.
Okay, but she just said you're going.
That was to Key West. I'm taking my kids, my 3 boys, to the Bahamas this morning.
Our kids.
Our kids. Yesterday, she sent a message saying that she's going to change her plans and now get on the airplane with me and the kids to go to the Bahamas.
But I own too, by the
When we
way.
land, she's going to go to her boyfriend.
Elsewhere.
And me and the kids are going to our house. And I told her I'm not supporting that. And you're not getting on the airplane. That can mess with the kids' heads. And it's just something we're not going to do. Well, I own 50% of the airplane. She, on paper, owns 25 of that. And majority owner, the other 50% owner, and myself are both in agreement to not have her on the airplane. So 75% says we don't want you on the plane.
That doesn't mean you get aggressive, push me out of the way, start unloading my car.
Push you out of the way.
Yes, at the back of the car.
Okay, Lindsay, I did not push you or anything.
He doesn't want me to go.
I raised the back to grab my kids' suitcases.
With a locked car.
So we can leave. That's all it is.
Okay. I'm going to tell you both, like I told you a minute ago, y'all are filed for divorce, okay? In situations like this, the best thing that we always recommend is y'all separate. Don't just separate from each other. You don't need to be going on vacation together if you file for divorce and it's obviously a volatile situation.
That's
Right.
I don't know how else to put it other than that, okay?
Even with the officers present, the tension exploded as Lindsay and Robert continued their heated fight over the travel plans and the children's suitcases. Neither was willing to back down, turning the scene into an unrelenting standoff.
I can't stop her. I can't say you can't go wherever the heck it is you want to go. I can't tell you, you can tell. That has nothing to do with what we're doing here. We're here because of acts of violence, to calm the situation. That's what we're here to do, okay? I can't control y'all going on vacation. Don't recommend going on vacation together, but that's just my personal.
It's just an hour on an airplane. Just
Okay.
with our kids.
Do you have any identification? Okay, can I get that, please?
No, since I own this vehicle and it's solely in my name.
It's marital property right now. She still has access to
Okay,
it.
I understand she has access to it, but can I not get my kids' suitcases out of the back?
Yes.
You can get your children's property
That's
out
what
of
I
it.
thought.
So he can get the kids' stuff out of my car.
It's marital property. And I don't have any paperwork saying that he's not allowed access to the children's property.
He's just not able to move me out of the way to get it.
It was obvious the officers were growing increasingly frustrated with the endless back and forth. In a stern tone, they told Lindsay and Robert to separate and cancel their plans to vacation together. But it was clear neither of them was paying attention, their arguing continuing unabated.
I mean, if it's this type of situation, y'all just need to separate. I mean, just don't be around each other if it's going to be like this.
So how do we do that with 3 kids?
All right, what do you have to get cops?
So now I'm able to get my kids' stuff back out of the vehicle.
Okay, why are we doing this though? Why do you need to do that?
Well, because he's taken my kids.
So we're going to go back and so we're going to stand here while y'all go back and forth moving suitcases back and
But
forth
that's what I'm
between
saying.
cars.
So that's what's just happened.
If that's what you feel like you need to do, then by all means do it. But you understand it's making the situation worse, and you're doing it in front of the children now. I don't.
Our plans have been the same for weeks.
In addition to the footage, there are several 911 calls Robert made during this time that have raised eyebrows. One call, from February 20th, 2023, stands out. Robert urgently requested a police escort home, expressing concern about his wife's behavior. The call left many questioning the strange nature of his request.
My wife just got back from out of town, and I believe that we are heading down the road of getting divorced. She just cut my cell phone off from Verizon. She called Verizon and had my cell phone disconnected, so I'm calling on my mother's phone at the Verizon store because the only way I can get it back active is if she releases it.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to go over to our home, and with the way that she is behaving, I feel like she might try and call the police to try to set me up as soon as I get there. And I wanted to try to get out in front of it because I'm not a risk of, doing anything crazy. I'm just trying to go to my house, and if I need to pack my stuff and leave, I can pack my stuff and leave. But my kids are there, and, I don't want it to be presented as she goes and screams bloody murder, calls the police, so I think to try to have me carried off in a police car.
In another unsettling 911 call, Robert mentioned receiving a mysterious envelope containing photos of his wife, which had been delivered to their home. He claimed to have no idea who took the photos, expressing fear that someone might be stalking her. The odd nature of the call only added to the mounting confusion surrounding the situation.
I do not have an emergency right now, but I was wanting to just kind of put you guys on notice of something that has been kind of odd. Mm-hmm. Are you the right person to talk to, or do I need to be transferred to a dispatch, or what?
This is dispatch.
Okay, so today at work, I had a letter delivered to me, and it was a USB thumb drive. And it didn't have a return to sender address or anything, and so I plugged the thumb drive in, and it had all these pictures of my wife on it from about 2 weeks ago when we were out of the country. And the same thumb drive was delivered to my parents' house about a mile away in an unmarked envelope. And it looks like, glancing through, that it was almost like a private investigator, but we have spoken with everybody that we know, mm-hmm. and they've all confirmed that they don't know what we're talking about.
Okay.
So I don't know if we have like a potential stalker or some lunatic that's in town that has been following my wife around.
Okay.
But we just wanted to let you guys know it might do, or we would like it if you guys could maybe, just make a couple of passes by our home tonight. We just kind of went through and checked the whole house ourselves.
Okay, do you want to get a report as well?
I don't think we need a report just yet because we're trying to find out more information on who took the pictures, and we're talking to some people that have some security cameras to see if we can get a picture of the individual first.
Okay, were the pictures taken while you were out of the country, or were they taken while you were here?
They were taken while we were out of the country in the Bahamas.
This situation has left many puzzled. especially given the reports that Robert had hired a private investigator to spy on his wife while she was in the Bahamas. In the months leading up to Lindsay's arrest, the couple had made several 911 calls, yet no one could have predicted the dark twist their relationship would take. After their explosive fight on July 16th over the private jet, Lindsay allegedly sent a shocking text to Terrence, accompanied by a photo of Robert saying, "Kill him." Unfortunately for her, the message would land in the hands of the Bahamian police while they were investigating an unrelated case. On July 20th, the police in the Bahamas received reports of a break-in at a local waterfront bar where the safe had been ransacked. Coincidentally, this was the same bar where Terrence worked, and the police suspected an inside job. As part of their investigation, they began going through the employees' phones, and that's when they stumbled upon the incriminating message. The next day, on July 21st, Lindsay, Terrence, and another man, Fenn Newell Jr., were arrested on charges of conspiring to commit murder. Fenn, a structural engineer and aspiring rapper from a respected family, was an unexpected suspect. It wasn't clear how he was involved, but messages between the trio indicated that he was meant to be the hitman for hire. Locals were shocked by Fenn's involvement, with one person stating, "He comes from a good family, he has a good job. I've never known him to be involved in anything like this." When Robert learned of the plot, he immediately went to the police and expressed his fear for his own life and the safety of his children.
According to police, on July 21st, the 36-year-old's estranged husband, Robert Shiver, told authorities that he learned of what was a plot to murder him, saying he came to police out of fear for his life and the life of his children. Police arresting Shiver's estranged wife and two other alleged accomplices. Investigators searching their phones and saying they found a number of WhatsApp messages suggesting a plot.
After their arrest, the three suspects were flown from the island of Guana to the capital, Nassau, where the nation's only prison is located. Footage from the transfer showed them being escorted by 3 officers to jail, appearing eerily calm and even smiling. Despite the severity of the charges, they maintained their innocence. Terrence claimed the entire situation had been blown out of proportion, while Fenn insisted that the case is not what it seems. However, during her police interview, Lindsay reportedly broke down in tears and confessed to sending the photos and the incriminating message. She claimed it wasn't meant to be taken seriously, stating she was merely venting about her bitter divorce. Lindsay was held at the infamous Fox Hill Prison, a facility notorious for its brutal conditions and the high number of inmates who tragically take their own lives.
This is where the notorious go. This is where anyone from minimum security to maximum, people beg to be extradited from here. You use a bucket in this facility. You don't get phone calls in this facility. And this is where this beauty pageant, soccer mom, self-proclaimed TikTok star, this mom to those boys, and also this Georgia mother is behind bars tonight.
Lindsay spent 19 days in Fox Hill Prison, during which she allegedly wasn't allowed to change her clothes. One bizarre report even claimed that she wore a $6,000 Cartier bracelet the entire time because no one at the prison could figure out how to remove it. Eventually, her bail was set at $100,000, with rumors circulating that Robert had agreed to pay it. However, sources close to the case have since dismissed these rumors. Robert himself stated that while he wasn't opposed to Lindsay being released on bail, he wasn't the one who posted it. Lindsay was released on August 9th, but with strict conditions. She was not allowed to leave the Bahamas while the case was ongoing. As part of her release, she was ordered to have no contact with her estranged husband and to stay at least 100 feet away from him. Additionally, she was required to remain in her leased condo between 8 p.m. and 5 a.m. and check in with local authorities 3 times a week.
Also hearing more details about her first check-in. Today, she went to the Cable Beach police station early this morning. Again, she spent 19 days in Fox Hill Prison, one of the most notorious prisons in the world. Now she's been released, and today checking in, telling reporters it's been tough. I really can't say much right now on the advice of her attorneys. It's been hard. I can't speak about it. I'm sorry. Thank you for being respectful. The former Alabama beauty queen and mother of 3 also required to stay away from not only her husband, but her kids, not have contact with them, and also no contact with her co-conspirators.
Lindsay's co-conspirators were each granted release on a staggering $220,000 bail. But here's the jaw-dropping part. They all kept the same lawyer. To make matters even more astonishing, during their bond hearing, Lindsay and Taryn were spotted whispering and giggling, completely unfazed by the serious charges looming over them. Their behavior left everyone stunned.
As for Terrence Bethel, he was spending his time locking eyes with his lover, the alleged lover, and they were touching each other at times. She was giggling. They were looking into each other's eyes. They were all in court today, not speaking except for with their attorneys, whispering with each other, which they were allowed to do, and then answering the court saying, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am.
On December 21st, a judge in the Bahamas allowed Lindsay to travel to the U.S. for the holidays to visit her young children. Robert reportedly agreed to supervised visitation, with Lindsay's parents overseeing the visits. However, Robert allegedly broke the agreement, citing advice from a child psychologist against it. On January 3, 2024, Lindsay's lawyer filed a motion demanding that the court compel Robert to allow her to see the children. The lawyer revealed that Lindsay was only allowed to speak to her children once, via FaceTime on Christmas Day, and had been unable to contact them otherwise. The motion further revealed shocking details. It is believed the children were left with babysitters for long stretches during the holidays, despite the fact they could have been with their mother and extended family in Alabama. The lawyer added that the children, aware Lindsay was at her parents' home, were particularly upset, especially the youngest, who was reportedly distraught. The lawyer went on to say that Robert had begun keeping the children from Lindsay long before the events in the Bahamas, moving money into inaccessible accounts and taking the children away from her care. Robert even went to court to block Lindsay's return to the U.S., allegedly telling a judge he was thankful to be alive and expressing concerns for his safety. He also reportedly claimed that after reviewing the indictment, he feared for his life, stating, "This was a situation close to happening." Lindsay's trial is set to begin on July 1st, 2024, where the prosecution will have to prove that she intended to carry out her alleged plan and was not simply venting to her boyfriend.